How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on the Garage Built Baits podcast. I'm your host, Wyatt. You might know me from BeyerLureCo, my YouTube channel, or you just might know me from this podcast. But if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely go and check it out. It's BeyerLureCo. And on today's episode number 6, and the second episode of 2024, since we are staying consistent with our uploads, we are staying consistent with this podcast, which I'm pretty excited about. We are going to be talking about the best ways that I find gear for cheaper. And when I say cheaper, I don't mean like getting like cheap gear. I'm talking about getting gear for under retail value. A lot of this gear is going to be used, but it's still in great condition. But I want to talk about it more because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of anglers want the best quality gear that they can afford, and that's going to benefit you for a number of reasons when you get better gear, especially with, like, say with rods and reels. Your longevity of your equipment is going to be better. The quality is going to be better, so on and so forth. More of those budget-friendly options are going to, I feel like it's going to eventually come back and, like, come back to you. And that stuff will eventually fail. Like, I have my first bait casting reel. It's a Lew's American Hero. I love that reel. It's my first reel. My partner bought it for me for like our 1-year anniversary. Here we are almost 8 years later, but that reel has not stood the test of time. Partially, that's kind of my issue with just like being hard on my gear, but I do also fish quite a bit and I put a lot of hours on my gear. So, quality gear at under retail, hell yeah, dude. Banana bread at work, hell yeah. But oh, it's like one of my favorite videos lately. But so this first place. Oh, let me preface beforehand. I am not sponsored. I am not affiliated with any company mentioned here within on this podcast episode because I don't rep them. I just feel like they have great services. That's all I'm gonna say. So this used to be my favorite place, and that is Facebook Marketplace. Lately hasn't been my favorite lately. So when I was a little younger, a little broker, Facebook Marketplace was definitely my go-to, and I did like end up finding like really good gear on there, baitcaster combos, stuff like that. But it's all kind of relative to your area as well. Where I was at in college, I was able to, like, big fishing culture over there. There's big fishing culture where I'm at now, but it's kind of different. It's more like trout and fly fishing oriented versus where I was before, definitely heavier into more walleye fishing, smallmouth fishing, things of that nature. So I was able to, like, find, like, good affordable baitcaster combos over there, like one of the ones that I picked up on Marketplace for I think I spent like $70 or $80 at the time, and it was like the Gen 2 Veritas, Abu Garcia Veritas rod, and then the Abu Garcia Pro Max, and at the time that was an awesome combo. I loved the shit out of that combo. Eventually the rod did break and I ended up trading the reel, which we will get into a little bit later. Also found a Lew's Laser MG combo off of Facebook Marketplace. That was a great combo for a number of years until I, sold the rod, traded the reel. It's kind of been my thing lately. Done a lot of trading and wheeling and dealing. Because one of my goals for this year was actually to take all of my cheaper, more budget reels and replace them with high quality reels. And in my opinion, the highest quality like fishing reels that you could get on the market are made by Daiwa and Shimano. So right now, all of my reels, all of my bait casting reels are Shimano reels. And like I'm pretty happy about that. Like my ultralight rod, it's a Shimano reel. It's like a $25 Shimano reel, but it's been a great reel so far. Have no complaints about it. Love that reel. Even their budget options are incredible. So like Facebook Marketplace definitely used to be my favorite. Does have some pros and cons. Like sometimes like you interact with like not so great people, or you'll have like people be like, oh, is this still available, and then like never respond again. Or you'll have people that like will throw up a bunch of just crap, and maybe you only want like a couple of, there's like only a couple things that catch your eye. They're like, nope, it's all together, have to buy the whole thing. And that kind of chaps my khakis a little bit. But I have been able to find some cool stuff. Like I mentioned, those rods around here right now. You can find, or at the beginning and at the end of ice fishing season, you can usually find lots of ice fishing gear. You can find augers, and you can find, ice shacks, rod and reel combos, lures, stuff like that. Because usually people will either upgrade or they're looking to get out of ice fishing, and I don't blame them. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just not my thing. It's never been my thing. But recently, I've been a big fan of some of the Facebook groups that are out there. Like I'm in a Shimano / Megabass or G Loomis, one of those like buy sell trade groups, so you can get like Shimano reels, Shimano rods, Megabass stuff, G Loomis stuff that people are wanting to buy, sell, and trade. And that's like a good resource out there, because maybe you have something that somebody wants. So you have this Shimano reel and you want the same reel but in a slower gear ratio or a faster gear ratio. List it up, and maybe somebody has something out there that, maybe they want that slower, faster gear ratio, whatever the deal may be. And then also, I'm on a couple swim bait groups on Facebook. One's strictly a buy and trade group, and then another one is probably the biggest one, is Swim Bait Universe, and people, do a lot of buy, sell, and trading on there. I feel like it's a really good resource to if you're trying to sell something, offload it pretty quickly. I definitely have utilized that quite a bit, especially when getting into swim bait fishing and wanting to build up a little bit of an arsenal, or like finding some more budget friendly swim baits. It definitely was the move. I've spent a little bit of money on those groups, more so Swim Bait Universe. It's a little more consistent on people selling things, and usually, like, I have yet to be burned on a transaction. You kind of usually people are pretty good about stuff on there. I've never had a bad interaction or like a bad transaction with anybody, and have always done PayPal, friends and family for everybody that I've used on there, or have bought stuff for, and it's always worked out. I feel like generally human beings are good. I feel like the people like on those groups that screw over people are usually like kicked out and blocked pretty quickly. And if somebody does have an issue with another person, they are dragged on that group. So use at your own discretion, deal at your own discretion, because if you fuck somebody over, they're gonna drag you on on the group. I think they're kind of dialing back on that a little bit, but it is what it is. Like, it's not a huge deal in my opinion. Like, if you're gonna get butthurt over that, maybe don't fuck people over. And the great thing about like the Facebook groups is you can find stuff like specific to your region. You can find stuff specific for your region. You can find stuff specific for what you're interested in, whether that's, you know, you really like swim baits, whether that's you like BFS fishing, whether it's regional and you're like in a Midwest buy sell trade group, or you're in a New Englander buy sell trade group, or a Dallas, Texas swim bait exchange, or, you know, something out there like that. And then the next one, since I've gotten into swim baits, so this is swim bait specific, but swim bait underground black market. And my guy Spice Can't Fish kind of put me onto this a little bit because he was showing me some baits one time, but he's like, oh, I got this on swim bait underground on the black market forum. And I was like, oh yeah, I've looked at that a little bit, but I don't have an account. So I went and made an account. And honestly, it's been probably the best thing to happen to me as far as like my swim bait arsenal goes, because since the beginning of 2023, basically, I was wheeling and dealing on that group, and I've had a number of good interactions, and I've built up my swim bait arsenal. And people are generally willing to let things go for under retail, except like maybe some hype baits that people might have. But right now, I feel like the market for swim baits is like pretty even. I don't think there's anything like that's super outrageous for prices right now. And the good thing is like, say you have and this is my personal example, I had a G2 Lunker Punker, 6 inches, like in a perch pattern. I won it off of a raffle that I bought like 1 or 2 tickets for on Swimbait Universe that was benefiting some dude. So it was like a feel good buy, and then if I won something cool. So I won like a toxic frog, a G2 punker, and a baka burrito. So like kind of a wide variety of swim baits there, and trading that toxic frog to Spice Can't Fish. Then he sent me like a KO Gantarelle that I ended up giving to my partner's nephew, and he was pretty happy about that. The nephew, that is. And then Spice was happy about the trade. I was happy about the trade. Like, I probably wasn't going to use that toxic frog. Like, my combo just wasn't like a good setup for that. I feel like you need a broomstick if you're going to like pull that toxic frog through the slop. That is a lot of plastic to throw around. I traded that baka burrito for a 68 special HUD, which I ended up casting off, which was like a heartbreaker. First day using it, casted it off. It's my own fault, didn't retie enough. And then I traded that G2 punker for a 6 cents draw, and I've since repainted that. And then like I've bought and traded a lot of other stuff. One of my most notable trades on there though is, so I had 3 zines, 3 Scales and Tails media magazines, the swimbait magazine that he does. Pretty great thing. If you haven't, go check those out. They're awesome. And I had 3 zines, and this dude on there was like looking for the first 3 issues. What I had the first 3 issues of the S&T zine. and he had a brand new throwback Wake Walker for sale. So I was like, hey, I'll trade you these zines for that Wake Walker, and I'll throw in like a couple extra bucks. And he went for it, and I was so excited. I even like messaged Adrian at Scales and Tails, and I was like, dude, I feel like you've really made it, because now I'm like, people are wanting the zines and they're willing to trade swim baits for them. So, and that Wake Walker is pretty cool. It's in like a bluegill pattern. I'll probably be doing a swim bait arsenal video on the YouTube channel, so definitely go check that out when it comes out. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to the podcast. That'd be cool as well. So that's probably one of my most notable trades, because that Wake Walker it's like $175 bait. My best trade on Swim Bait Underground is I bought a DRT Clash 9, and I wasn't really super into it. Like, I fished it, but with the combo that I have currently, it just felt a little underpowered for throwing the K9. Like, I only have a 1 to 4 ounce rod, and that Clash 9 is approaching that 4 ounce range. You know, it's a little under. So I was like, I can throw it, but I was like, I really don't want to push it. This is a big bait. I don't think this is really for me, but I love the TK. I love the DRT Tiny Clash, and that bait's a lot more manageable, I feel like, and it just played out. I feel like it just gets bit. And so I had the K9, and I was like, I made a post that I wanted to trade this K9 for either like a negotiator or a left-hand retrieve bait casting reel, seeing what's out there and whatever. And so I took that K9, and this dude was like, hey, I got all these lose reels that I don't use anymore, and like some pretty nice ones. There was like definitely higher end lose reels. I think they all retailed for over $100, but I think the most expensive one was a little bit older model, but the most expensive one retailed for like $180, I believe. And then the other ones retail for anywhere from like $100 to $130. And he had four that he was willing. No, he had three that he was willing to ship me. And so I was like, all right. He's like, I'll take that K9. And he's like, I know you have a bull shad on here as well that you're wanting to get rid of. And I got that bull shad in a different trade that I think somebody just sent it to me for free. Since I was a beginner, I was looking for some new baits, and he was like, oh, here, I'll just send you this. I don't use it anymore. So I traded that bull shad and that DRT K9 for 3 lose reels. And I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I'm not really wanting these lose reels. And so what I did is I took those 3 lose reels, and then I already had a lose, like LFS or like whatever it is, like their $99, like $100 entry level reel, or not entry level, but like, you know, mid-priced reel at $100. And so I took all 4 of those lose reels, and I went on to American Legacy Fishing, because they have a used rod and reel program. And this company is based out of Indiana, I believe. And they have this program where you can trade in your used rods and reels, and they'll give you in-store credit. And so I used that program before when I had... I took a Abu Garcia Black Max that I had, or not Black Max, Pro Max that I had, and I had that lose Laser MG, and I took those, traded them in, and got credit, and I bought that lose LFS speed spool, whatever it is, $100 reel, and I bought it for like not very much. I think I only spent like $8 on it. Like a super good deal. Yeah, I only spent like $8 on it. And then I went ahead, I traded in that LFS that I had previously gotten the previous year and those other 3 lose reels. And I traded those in, and I got about $100 in trade-in value. So like nothing spectacular, but $100 is $100. And at the time I traded those in, I waited a little bit longer and was just kind of biding my time. And American Legacy Fishing had a sale on Shimano reels, and I was like, okay, looking for a left-hand retrieve, something for my one rod that I use for jerkbaits, chatterbaits, crankbaits, spinnerbaits, things like that. And so I was able to pick up a Shimano Curado 151 MGL. That's the like Magnum Light or whatever, Magnum Light spool, or like however it is. It's like it's a really smooth reel. It's a really nice reel, and it's probably the nicest reel that I have right now because it's brand new. And so with that trade-in value plus the sale plus some like rewards points that I had, I was able to, and then honestly I might have used the discount code from the Tackle Talk podcast. I used that discount code as well, which I was surprised that it applied to it, and I picked up that $210 reel. I was able to pick that up for like $31. A $210 reel for $31 just because I was playing this game of buy, sell, trade. So I bought that K9. I was like, this isn't for me. Traded it, got some reels. And that bullshit, I was like, it's not for me. Traded that in, got these reels. And I used a different resource to then trade those reels for something I wanted. And they have that rod trade-in as well. And honestly, they have super, super great deals on American Legacy Fishing all the time because they got that used reel program. But then they also will have sales on their used reels as well when they want to push inventory, stuff like that. And so then I was able later on to get a Shimano SLX 151. I think it's an XG. It's a little bit faster gear ratio, or it's an HG, whatever one it is. It's like a 7-2 gear ratio. I was able to pick that up for the rod that I do my jig, frog, and Texas rig fishing on. And I only spent, I think I used the Tackle Talk discount as well. So it's like, that reel retails for $100, and I was able to get it for, I don't remember what they had it on there for, but I only picked up that reel for like $60. And I thought that was a heck of a deal as well. But that DRT Clash 9 that I picked that up for way under what the value is as well. And for like way under what people were like are paying for it. Like the DRT baits don't retail, like they're pretty reasonable for retail. I think you can usually pick up a DRT K9 for $120, and I bought this one for $80, and I think I got my money's worth out of it. And it's just this, like I said, it's a game of buy, sell, and trade, because maybe you have something somebody else wants. And it's really cool because you don't see, especially with swim baits, if you like take that same buy sell trade stuff, it doesn't really translate over to the conventional side, because you don't really see anybody being like, oh, I have like two Strike King 10XDs or whatever. I want to trade these for a Z-Man jackhammer. Like, you don't really see that in the conventional world, but versus the swim bait side, where you're dealing with high-end baits, you're dealing with baits that retail for anywhere from, I'm going to say 40 all the way up to like $1,100. You can buy, you brand new, you can buy a Roman made Mother Chaser for $1,100 on Tackle Warehouse. And so you're dealing with these high-end baits, and so it just makes sense that you would trade them, especially like then you only have to pay shipping. Maybe you bought it brand new, but these baits just switch hands constantly. And so if you're looking to get into swim baits, definitely check out, Swim Bait Universe on Facebook, join the group, and then check out Swim Bait Underground in the Black Market Forum, because you can get some crazy deals. People are selling swim bait reels on there. They sell rods. They'll buy, sell, and trade, baits all the time. I'm constantly looking, people have new things up, because people are wanting to experience new things, like buy new baits, sell new baits, trade new baits, things like that. And the market's like pretty big right now, with a bunch of different garage swim bait makers, people making swim baits out of their garages, or their small workshops or whatever. And there's a lot out there. It's definitely like way more than what it used to be. And I've only been doing this for a year, but I've seen a lot already, and have built up my arsenal, and I'm pretty excited about the stuff that I do have, because I've been wanting a Roman made negotiator. That's the 7-inch model. It's like the little brother to the Roman made mother. So it's, just 7 inches. It's about 3.5 ounces or something like that. And been really wanting one. Found one in good condition. Has only like a couple little blemishes. I think I paid $70 for it or something like that. I got a hell of a deal on it. And, sometimes I look on there and I find stuff that I never knew I needed before I seen it. And it's just like at such a good price, it's like, how do you pass this up? So if you're going to get into swim bait fishing, check those out. But if you need a new reel or whatever in general, go check out American Legacy Fishing. Look under their used section. They got spinning, casting, and fly reels, I believe. And then I think the same for the rod section, because maybe you don't want to pay retail for a brand new rod. And they got swim bait rods on there as well. I don't think they pop up as often, but you can find them on there. And plus, through a company like that, generally the shipping's like, you're not gonna have to pay absorbent, like just crazy astronomical prices for shipping a rod, versus if you do it through Underground or Universe. Usually when people sell rods, they're local pickup only, unless people are willing to pay the like crazy shipping costs to ship, an 8-foot rod. So I would definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, those have been the places where I've been getting a lot of gear lately. And like I don't think I've bought a swim bait brand new. The only ones that I've bought brand new are when I first started. And The only ones that I still have from that is I have some soft plastics. I have a Megabass Meg Draft that I bought on sale at Shields, like my local Shields. And then I like the Savage Gear stuff that I got on sale, like not this past Christmas, but the Christmas 2022 is what I got, those Savage Gear stuff on sale. And I casted off that pulse tail trout. I haven't used that pulse tail bluegill, and I sold that Savage Gear little shad glide bait that they have, and sold it to somebody that was going to use it. Sold it from Universe because I had one. I'm like, I'm not using this, so here you go. And like I said, you can find like a lot of good gear. So like even on the local fishing group that I'm in for my region, people will post stuff on there as well for sale. Like I said, right now, usually it tends to be a lot of ice fishing stuff this time of year because people are looking to get out of it and people are looking to get into it. And the area that I'm in is just a little different for fishing. It's a lot different than what I'm into. And when I talk to people about fishing, I'm kind of just like, I'll be talking to people and I'm just like, you have no fucking idea what you are talking about. You are dumb. And I feel bad for thinking that because I'm like, well, obviously this is something that's working for you, but I'm not going to throw treble hooks on a hot dog and throw it out for early spring ice out pike. That's not my thing. That's never been my thing. But I will throw and slow roll a fucking Roman-made negotiator for spring ice out pike, and I'll slow roll that 6 cents draw for ice out pike, and I'll slow roll that Depths 175 in the Butch Brown 24/7 swim bait underground collab, gizzard shad or whatever golden shiner like pattern that I have. I will throw that for pike in the early spring, and I'll throw that for early spring bass fishing. Like, I'm so excited for ice out. I'm excited to get back in the kayak. Oh, speaking of my kayak, I found that on Facebook Marketplace. So it's like an $800 kayak. I was able to pick it up for $200, but it literally has nothing with it. It didn't have paddles. It didn't have the seats that it comes with when you buy it retail. But it was in great shape. It was $200. Price was right. I'm like, this is a blank canvas that I can paint on. Basically, I can put stuff on it that I want to. So I'm going to, and I already have stuff. I have some dry storage that I'm going to add to it. Right in the front has a little template to do that. Right in front of your seat, I have a paddle clip for it already. I have rod holders to add to it. I have a bucket that I'm going to make for fishing to store scale pliers, some tackle, things like that. And I'm pretty stoked for it. Those are going to make cool videos on the YouTube channel. And then I can come back to the podcast and talk about it as well. But that's going to wrap it up for the episode. Kind of rambled on, got like a little bit passionate about like some of the stuff I was talking about, especially towards the end. But I'm just so jacked and I'm excited for this new fishing season. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you feel so inclined, there's a Buy Me Coffee link down below where you can help support the podcast and the YouTube channel. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you for the next episode.